An epic month and an epic year now in the books. Let's talk about it. This is Mad as Money. All right, guys, 2017. Today was the last trading day of the year. 2017 is officially history. What an epic past couple months we've had. November and now December, some crazy action. Today, finishing the day up over $12,000 in profits. Lots of opportunity. I was scanning Twitter and just checking up on all the other traders out there. You guys are just killing it. There's so many people out there that are just doing so well, and it's really good to see. Genuinely, very, very happy to see so many people doing so well. This market just very, very, very charitable in terms of offering opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to all sorts of different styles, account sizes, you name it. Great opportunities for all you guys out there looking to grow your accounts to astronomical new highs. Lots of people saying they're at new personal best week, best month. Their accounts at all-time highs, stuff like that. That's really good to see, guys. Hopefully this market keeps on giving, and 2018 is just more of a continuation of 2017. So let's go ahead and talk about today. We got Watt, one of the craziest fades I've seen in a while. Straight down, no bounce. Lots of people took advantage of this thing. 33 all the way down to 19. That is that is something. Definitely didn't get the full advantage of it. As you guys know, I'm not really a big fan of trading grinds. It did grind back during lull, so who knows? I probably would have gotten stuck in this. I already was gone by the time all of this happened. But it came back in the afternoon, scalped it a couple times for a couple bucks. Some of you guys out there definitely killed this with this all-day hold, but not really my style. So not really something I would have taken advantage of anyways. But nonetheless, Watt was a really nice trade, at least in the morning. Lots of volatility in that one. GCAP was another one. Really, really good stock. Wash out long this thing, and then flipped to short once 13s topped out, and then became another all-day fade. Great day for all-day faders today. Lots of you guys that do intraday swings. You guys were rewarded quite handsomely. VT, another stock. Nice little pop at the open. Also faded as well. TEUM, bag holder short. It did break above pre-market highs, but eventually hit a brick wall around 240 and then started doing the all-day fade as well. So again, a great day for intraday swings. If you got your good entries, you're able to hang on. No real reason to stop out. Again, not really my style, but still walked away with $12,000. Nothing really to nothing really to laugh about. Really a solid day overall. Lots of you guys did amazingly well as well. It's really, really good to see. All right, so as you can see, pretty epic month. As you can see from my color coding, I usually color code things green on an epic day, yellow on a pretty good day, orange is average, below average, and red is pretty bad. Most of the days were yellow, orange, a couple of green days. So really, really solid month overall. Great action. Nothing really in terms of days where it was just absolutely nothing that was in play. Definitely lots of you guys took advantage of this. I've seen what you guys trade on day in and day out. Definitely lots of plays. I took advantage of it as well. As you can see, finishing the month with a second consecutive six-figure month. Still, that $155,000 personal best month still eludes me. Something to work on for 2018. Nothing to worry about. Definitely a goal to try to break that record sooner or later. But $145,000, again, nothing to laugh about. Pretty solid profit, especially after the previous month where I finished with $149,000. So basically two consecutive near $150,000 months, $300,000 in 2 months. Pretty solid profits overall. So again, the main purpose, the reason why I do these videos is not so much to show you guys the profits and all that, but first of all, you see my notes. And you can pause the video, of course, and review what I have to say here, and you can kind of compare it with maybe some of the notes you guys have. And if you don't keep a trading journal, definitely highly recommend you guys doing that, because you get to see exactly what your thought process was those particular days, what you did right, what you did wrong, how the market was like, market conditions and otherwise. And when I share my notes like this, it's a really good opportunity for you guys to compare what I was thinking, kind of pick my brain, so to speak, compare it with your notes as well, and see maybe what we saw that were the same. We were on the same page here. Maybe we saw things a little bit differently. again, the market is open to interpretation. There's no real one right or wrong approach to it. All that matters is in the end, the money is in our account and we're growing it. So good to always share our thoughts and ideas with other traders, and this is one outlet for me through these YouTube videos to share with you guys my thoughts and my analysis when it comes to trading day in and day out. So hopefully you guys get to take advantage of this, and also at the same time you guys get to see what tickers I trade. At the same time as well, you see how many trades I make on a daily basis. I get asked that a lot, how many trades I make. You can see it all right there, how many shares I trade. And also you can see toward the end of the month, I reopened my Vision account because I anticipated a change in the market conditions. And that's another reason why I make these recap videos, so you guys can see exactly how the market changed in terms of market conditions. At the beginning of the month, we still had our blockchain names, and progressively throughout the month, they kind of phased out. And actually, in particular, on a specific day, the brokers decided to turn off margin, and they also restricted a lot of the borrows. So that definitely put a halt to a lot of the blockchain names, as you can see on this particular day right here. And after that, that's when we started getting the sketchy action. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I've been talking about this particular week after the holidays. Lower volume. People probably didn't show up because it was the last week of the year. And, of course, with the blockchain plays kind of abruptly dying out, we didn't really have the same sustained momentum. And as a result, the market kind of transformed into a more of a shorter's market in the last week. So that's really good for you guys to see how this month played out. Blockchain names took over at the beginning of the month. The usual suspects. You got your DPW, you got your Riot, you got your Mara, and of course the epic stock of all times, Elfin, the stock that yielded me my best trading day, my best trade ever, my best trading day ever. If you guys haven't checked out that video, definitely check it out. That was amazingly caught on tape, and good chance to relive that moment. It was quite something. But after that, we had NETE, of course. That was another epic runner that ran after Elfin. And then we had NXTD. FTFT was a stock that ran after the blockchain names kind of died out. And, of course, we had TEUM. And today and yesterday we had Watt. So you can kind of see the plays kind of changed a little bit. We had some runners here and there, but this past week specifically, I did note, if you noticed on my Twitter feed, I said there are lots of selling into the moves. Stocks like Watt were at all-time highs, so they did squeeze short. So there was a big tug-of-war battle between short covers as well as the diluters. Again, diluters, I mean people that are selling into the move. So I know in a particular case with Watt, there were warrants with an exercise price at $23. So definitely the warrants were probably being executed on the way up, and that damped a lot of the move. It still offered really, really good opportunities on the long side. But you can kind of see based on the action, if you watch Watt and how it trades, there's lots of selling, and that really prevented it from, reaching its full potential on the long side. But regardless, that's just how the market played out. Be prepared to flip sides as always. Definitely this week, I found myself shorting a lot more than I did the previous 3 weeks, but that's how it is. Doesn't really matter as long as you make the money. That's how you do it. So let's go over some charts, shall we? All right, so I'm just going to put my glasses on here. I can't really see shit at the moment. Too lazy to put my contacts on. But let's go ahead and look at Mara. Mara, of course, a carryover play from November. And we can also see that it was also in play very nicely. This is the first day of the month. You can see that it was a nice fader from the pre-market and a nice low VWAP short at the open. Did grind back, do a VWAP reclaim, and then hung around. But this was a nice trade if you took the short against VWAP at the open. Riot on this particular day, too, might have been in play. I do have it in my notes. Similar setup. Short there. I just got to avoid that 10-10-30 VWAP reclaim. That could be a headache there. DCIX. A little pop and drop there, pre-market high reject. Let's see, DPW, the same setup as Mara and Riot. So pretty much this particular day, all the blockchain names all behave the same way. Just as long as you took your profits, didn't get caught in the grind back in the VWAP reclaim, you were fine for the most part. But PXS, this was the one, the creme de la creme on that particular day. This one ripped all the way up from 2s all the way up to 9s. And what happened here was it was a great long for the longest time. Nice little washout there. See some couple of decent washout opportunities. Very difficult to trade on this grind up, but once it started breaking out at around the $6 level, you can see these washouts were nice. But what happened here was it just ended up dumping, dilution dump style, and couldn't buy a bounce. So I got caught in this on this particular bounce attempt. Like I said, I don't regret it. But it is what it is. It's one of those ones where it just doesn't bounce. The diluters decided to take over. So this thing went from 2 to 9 all the way back down to 3 in the course of just one day. So that's how the market was. That's how nutty it was. You gotta be prepared on both sides of the trade. PXS though, on the next particular day, this day, people were probably thinking the same thing. They were gonna dilution dump this thing, and guess what? They decided to ramp this all the way up to 12, breaking the prior day's highs. So again, lots of people thinking, maybe, based on the previous day, the stock performed a certain way. You can't be too biased. It's good to know how a stock behaves typically, but you never know when they could just flip the switch on you and things just go topsy-turvy inside out. So on this particular case, PXS decided to turn the dilution switch off. Who knows? Maybe they made all their money the previous day by dumping all those shares, and they hightailed to the Bahamas, sipping on Mai Tais on the beach, and then this happened. They leave all the shorts to triple over each other and run this thing back to $12. And then guess what? At the end of the day, you get the infinite dump again. So this particular stock was a very difficult stock to trade. If you didn't know how to change biases properly, you were in trouble. So I took a couple hits on PXS both days. It was tough. I was thinking coming into the day they were going to dilution dump it again. Any pop was a short. Got stuck in the squeeze. Ended up with a pretty bad loss. So just goes to show you, you just got to be prepared for anything. Anything's absolutely possible in this market, regardless of what you may or may think or may want to happen. Just because you want something to happen just doesn't mean that you can will it to happen. So PXS, a very prime example of that. See continuation, look at DPW. DPW ran after hours. Not sure why it ran this particular day. Might have been some news or something like that, but it ran, and I think there was maybe an offering or something like that after hours. Again, goes to show you that if you tried to long this thing for an overnight hold, you got shafted pretty hard there. So another reason why I don't overnight stuff. Mara, a little bit light volume today, nothing really too crazy. Let's fast forward to the next day. Mara, a little bit late day squeeze, nothing really too impressive. I don't think it did much the next day. DPW, same thing. Maybe been some news or something like that. But as you can see, these blockchain names, the familiar ones like DPW and Mara, they're progressively kind of dying out. In terms of price action, in terms of volume, you can see that throughout the day, the volume kind of really got really low on DPW. Let's move on to the next day. So DPW, again, another dump. I believe this is another offering news or something like that. I'm not really sure. DPW's had several of these dumps already. But another one of these. VTGN, play at the open. Nice little ramp there. Held up for the most part before fading at the end of the day. Let's see, what else do we have? This is December 7th. December 7th, a nice little washout long looking like there for DPW. So DPW was a nice little dump the previous day, but it gapped up pretty hard. So I probably caught a handful of these shorts, and it caused a little washout long opportunity there, which I probably took advantage of. I made $17,000 this day, so I must have played this. Another nice little washout long opportunity as well. And VTGN, nice volume there too. A couple 1 million share volume candles there. On December 8th, PXS, another opportunity for PXS to annoy shorts there. Ran at the open. Nice little trade there. You got these little nice wicks that you can kind of long into. And you can kind of see that it was holding VWAP on the way up. So this is pretty important to note how VWAP is used. VWAP is used often as an over-under to determine the difference between long bias and short bias. At least that's how I use it. So you can see these washouts were nice long opportunities until it cracked VWAP, and then pretty much became short pops here before it reclaimed it, and then it couldn't get above it, and then it faded at the end of the day. So nice little over under for the most part in the morning. This is pretty much the bulk of my trading. It takes place anyways. I don't really trade low, or at least I try not to. The volume is just too low. Too much can happen. But as long as you pay attention to VWAP and also the pre-market highs in relation to the price of the stock asset in relation to pre-market highs, you can kind of see that this was a clear long that you wouldn't be shorting into this spike. So nice volume, nice opportunities, nice little win there. December 11th, we had Riot and had a nice little grind back opportunity there. If we kind of zoom out, I believe it broke over a key level. Yeah, it broke over 22, which was a very important level for Riot. And then you can see that it actually washed out there against 22 and hit a high of day there, very close to the close, $23. So I think I scalped this thing once it broke high of day, started longing it, and then once it broke over 22, which was a pretty big resistance on the daily chart, this thing was right for another move for another $1.50 or so. It's a pretty nice opportunity there on Riot on December the 11th. Also had on here YTN, was that something? Yeah, nice little squeeze at the open. Might have caught scanners or something like that. YTEN. Look at the next day. PTI. Nice little washout long here against this pre-market resistance acting as support. Nice little pop there, 5 all the way up to 6. Nice little $1 per share opportunity, and it held pretty much that same level where it washed out, grinded back up. Nice little opportunity there on PTI. Riot also in play today. Nice little washout long again against pre-market support. See this little nice pop, held pre-market support, squeezed again, hit $33. Another solid opportunity on Riot. And this is when Riot broke above the recent highs, and it just pretty much took off at this point. More highs on Riot. So great opportunities. This stock was well in play. Let's go ahead and look at the next day. I believe Riot was also in play the next day as well. Yeah, Riot, nice little washout long. It gapped down pretty hard. It faded after hours, but it was down huge. $10 off the prior day's high of day. So you got a little nice washout here against that 22, 23 level. Nice little pop back. Nice little $3 per share gain opportunity there on Riot. This is December 13th. I made $15,000 that day, so I must have traded either Riot or DPW. DPW, nice little washout long opportunity against pre-market support as well. So again, pre-market support very relevant to the washout long or panic pop short trade, first trade at the opening bell. You see that 520 pop, 70-cent opportunity there on DPW. Solid volume, 2.5 million shares, more than enough for you to go in with some decent size and capture a nice piece of the pie there. So let's go ahead and look at the next day. December the 14th, we had Schmidt, nice little panic pop short. A lot of wicks there. Could have been a washout long too, maybe. But I would have probably looked for a panic pop short against that pre-market highs there. You can kind of see that pre-market highs rejected and ended up fading. Let's see, what else did I trade? Made $11,000 this day. AEY might have been a little pop and drop at the open. I'm not sure if I traded this one. AMPE, nice little pre-market high break, ran. And the next day, of course, is the day where the world got to first meet Elfin. So Elfin ran from 7 to 26. Now, this was not the epic day where I made my $75,000 win, but this was a pretty solid day with nice trading opportunities. I ended up still making $16,000 this day. And you can kind of see that, once again, it broke pre-market highs. It held it, never looked back. Nice little washout opportunities. Decent volume. And really solid trading opportunities all day. Held support and resistances very, very well. You can see right there all the lines drawn. It respected it very well, which made it an easy, very easy read. This is what I really liked about Elfin, is that every single time I traded it, it was very easy to read. Unlike the stocks we've been trading this week, like Watt, like GCap, like Linu and all that, where we always experience a lot of dilution, a lot of heavy selling into each high day move, and then the stock would make some nonsensical, support cracks or whatever. It just made no sense. So with Elfin, there was no dilution. The stock was able to freely, organically roam as it pleased. It was completely moving as a result of traders trading it, shorts getting caught, what have you, buyers jumping in. And it was a great trading vehicle. And if we had more stocks like Elfin, believe me, we would be banking big day in and day out. So let's go ahead and fast forward to the very next day, the epic day of Elfin, where it made this move for all times right here. Elfin going from looking like right there. You see the pre-market support holding there around 35. Running all the way up to $142. Oh my goodness. You can kind of see how many green candles it made in between, and after you finally got this little topping wick candle right there, you got that now infamous 1 hour and 30-minute halt or whatever, and then a gap down like $90. So just goes to show you guys, you're just playing with fire. I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Price is Right. I watched The Price is Right growing up. I don't know about you guys, but Bob Barker, come on down. There was like a game called the Cliffhanger or something like that, and basically they had to guess the price without going over, and then every time they were over, the cliffhanger would move up like this mountain, and then the more they were wrong, he would move closer to the edge of the mountain, and if they were wrong by too much, he would just like walk over the mountain and just fall over. It was pretty hilarious, but it was just this reminded me of that. This thing was pretty much just going up and up and up and up, and then after a certain point, it's gonna fall over. If you're in a huge size and you're holding this thing, man, you're playing with fire. But you can't deny that the trading opportunities were absolutely epic on this. I had to sell it too early on the way up. I couldn't chance it. I made my big trade, when I bought this washout right here, sold into this pop. I also bought these washouts here on the way up with smaller size. It definitely added up. I was already up like $20,000 before my big $45,000 win. But, you got to be careful because of the halt risks. You might be stuck in a 1 hour, 2 hour, who knows how long the halt may be. And you might be forced to hold it after hours or overnight or something stupid like that. That hasn't happened yet, thankfully. But just as a precaution, you gotta be careful. Take your profits. I was up $45,000 on my trade. Again, check it out in the video. I'm not gonna go over it too much, but this was definitely this makes dries look like child's play. It really does. Dries took a couple days to get to 120. This thing did it in like 2 days. So. Yeah, just screenshot this chart, post it on your wall. Something to tell your grandchildren one day. Elfin, one for the ages. So let's see what else we had. OTIV. Not sure if I traded this, but this is a pretty nasty, ugly pre-market chart. So it might have been a short against there. Maybe I traded it, maybe I didn't. DSS. Let's see. Yeah, a nice little pop here. I believe this was probably a scanner play. The previous day we had SIEB. This was a stock where I didn't really like the way it traded because this is one where it just always sold off hard. It never really had any continuation, no follow through. So this was a good example of a stock that was making new highs. If you look at the chart, it looks good on paper, but it was really not that tradable because every single time it pushed to new highs, the volume wasn't that great, first of all, and secondly, it never really got any sustained follow through. You see right there, it pushed and it just dumped back down. So not really my cup of tea. I didn't really trade SIEB that much. PIXY previous day, pop and drop. So let's go ahead and jump on to the next day. We had Craig. Nice little fade there. Ugly pre-market chart. Rejecting pre-market resistance and fading. OTIV. Again, another little fader. TUM. Nice dump recovery. Riot, nice opportunity there. Dump pre-market, regained it, ran all the way up to 46. Wow. Yep, nice little double top there at 46 on Riot. All right, let's go ahead and jump on to the next day. The next day we had NETE. We had NET. This was a stock that ran pre-market from 5 all the way up to 20. 24.98, basically $25. Nice little washout long opportunity at the open, as you can see, from 18 all the way to 25. And after that, it kind of chopped around. Didn't really trade much after this. You can kind of see that just danced around right there. But look at the opportunity at the open. It doesn't look like much, guys, but this is a lot of range. 18 to 24. I believe it also halted in there, offered a halt, resume, washout long. So solid trading opportunities there on NETE. At least at the open, it was an easy read. SSC, ugly pre-market chart. NXTD, this one, wasn't that tradable. Good volume, though. But I believe the next day was when NXTD got pretty epic. FTFT, this one was, I think this might have been its first day. No, second day. Yeah, the previous day was the day FTFT ran from 2 to 5 and then kind of dilution dumped. So this is when I kind of realized FTFT has a tendency to sell off every single time, even though it was making new highs. Which was, of course, shame on me because I got caught on it a couple times later on. But we'll get to that in a second. So let's go ahead and look at the next day. NXTD was, I believe this is the day where NXTD was really in play. There we go. Yeah, NXTD was a really, really big time mover today. 3 9s all the way up to 8s. Nice little washout long opportunities you can see on these wicks. Let's go ahead and look at FTFT and what it did this day. Nope, dilution dumped all day, no volume. NETE gapped up, ran at 34, but eventually faded. LTEA, an ugly pre-market chart. Nice short opportunity there. And let's fast forward to the next day on December 22nd. And this is the day where things kind of turned. The tables kind of turned here because this is the day where brokers restricted margin on the longs. They restricted a lot of the shorts. Maybe too many people were blowing up or something like that. But this was probably the last day where the blockchain stocks were really tradable. Nice little washout long opportunities you can see right there against that pre-market support at 4.3. Ran back up to 5, so that was a really nice opportunity. NXTD, NETE, gap down pretty hard. It was $34. The previous day is at 12 this day. That's pretty crazy. 12 all the way up to 16 net recovery. 12 was a previous support on the daily chart, I believe, on NETE. But FTFT today, this was the one that got me because I tried to long these washouts and then a dilution dumped into me. So this is where I, made that mistake of not respecting the way it trades before. Again, though, you never know how it works out because PXS, if you assume that it was going to dilution dump the second day, you would have gotten stuck in the squeeze like I did too. So the correct move in this situation would be to buy the dips, and if you kind of notice that something's not right, to stop trying or stop averaging down. That's pretty much it. 9 out of 10 times you're going to get the nice little washout. It's going to bounce. A stock that goes from 2 to 6 is going to obviously trap shorts. Most of the time, it should move back up. It should bounce. If the stock drops from 6 all the way down to like 5, it should bounce back to like 550, 570 or something like that in this particular case. But, sometimes it just doesn't do it for whatever reason. It could be dilution. It could be bad news. You never know. So in this particular case, once you see these many red candles in a row, something's not right here. It cracked through VWAP like it didn't even exist. So in this particular case, you just got to take the loss, maybe flip to short, whatever. But this is definitely a mistake that I'd like to have back. Just got to not be so biased, even though, you have a strategy that works 9 out of 10 times. That means it will not work 1 out of 10 times. So just got to be prepared for that one time. Don't let it be the end of you. So let's go ahead on December 26th. Let's move on and see what we had on that particular day. This is the start of this week. FTFT, nice little ramp at the open again. They dilution dumped it back down on the 26th. We also had ADOM, scanner play, another dilution dumper. So again, like I said, this particular week we had lower volume. Looks like people might have not shown up to trade. Maybe they took the rest of the year off. I anticipated that. Usually the last week of the year tends to be a little bit sketchy, and we kind of see the tapes turning, right? Like, a lot of the long plays that normally would have had continuation or at least a bounce opportunity or like that, something like that, we had lots of dumps. Lots of failed follow through, failed momentum, failed continuation. So another example right there, ADOM. TEUM, let's go ahead and fast forward to the next day, which is Wednesday. TEUM was a nice stock. It was very promising the previous day. As you can see, it ramped at the end of the day. This is the prior day. This is the 26th. 150 all the way to 3. And, it looks really good here. Nice washout long opportunities. I took advantage of that. Granted, up after hours. Pre-market hitting a high of 399. But you can kind of see, guess what? Ugly pre-market chart. And look what happens. It ends up not really offering much. Aside from maybe this little washout long right there. I believe I did take advantage of this. This nice little flip there for 30 cents, and then obviously it couldn't get above this key resistance around 310, 315. Couldn't regain VWAP, and then the rest is history. It never regained VWAP again against the importance of VWAP as an indicator to help you determine bias. So TEUM, a little bit of a disappointment, but again, nothing too surprising. Again, given the change in the market conditions with everything turning into a more short bias trade, and TEUM definitely not a good example of a stock that would be representative of what we've seen in the past 3 weeks prior to this. So this particular day, let's see what else did we have in play. LTBR. This one did squeeze, but again, you kind of see that once it topped out, ended up fading. LMFA. This one always would come back once in a while, popped, low volume. I believe this popped up on scanners, eventually faded. Let's go ahead and talk about the last couple of days here. The last couple stocks I want to talk about. 3 stocks left. I want to talk about Watt, I want to talk about Lineu, and I want to talk about GCAP. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Watt first. Watt was definitely the play of the day for the past couple of days. So we can see Watt, this thing ramped up on news. I forgot exactly what the news was, but it ramped up from 8 all the way up to, 16, 17, and then kept going up and up and up, kept trapping shorts. But the problem with Watt was, I kept saying on Twitter, is that they were selling hard into the move. Everyone knew there were warrants. Maybe that added to more fuel to the fire for the short squeeze. But the entire time this thing was moving, we had a tug-of-war battle between shorts who were getting stuck that had to cover versus the diluters. Probably those warrants at 23 or whatever, okay? So you can see that although Watt was a nice looking chart on paper, today's candle not really that pretty. But you can kind of see every single time it pushed up, you got these really nasty red candles, it wasn't clean. It didn't look like Elfin, basically. So Watt, I was very careful in trading it on the long side. It was really nice at the open, because at the open you got the bum rush where everyone's just like frantically panicking. So washout longs at the open on Watt were very, very good. But for the most part, it was very difficult to gauge a lot of times how the tape was playing out on Watt, because you had the diluters and you can't tell exactly when the diluters would stop diluting at any given time. You had to gauge it with the short covers. It was pretty tough. But, today it offered a really nice break for the shorts. It couldn't regain VWAP again. Eventually tanked really hard. Not much of a bounce from 10 o'clock on all the way down today. So Watt, a really nice trading opportunity on both sides. Eventually on the short side was a solid long for a couple of days with an asterisk because of the diluters. GCAP, another example yesterday. This one popped. Scanner play. It was a news. Some institution or whatever you want to call them. I forgot what they're called, like Mox or something like that. They pumped this thing, saying they're the next blockchain Bitcoin play or whatever. Nice little pop. They sold really hard into this move, so I shorted in the pop, got caught in this grind for a pretty bad loss. So this one, they got me pretty good. I thought they were going to dilution dump it again, though. I did stop at a 9, prevented the loss from getting worse. The next day, long this thing. This was actually today. Long this thing from 12, sold it at 13, flipped it to short. Didn't capture this entire move because I didn't want to get stuck in the grind, low volume grind and all that. But it did eventually fade all day, not even getting anywhere close to VWAP. So this is actually a pretty good short if you actually went for it. So GCAP, institutional prop job. I don't know what their agenda was. They propped it from 8 to 13. Maybe they decided to cash out today. For their holiday money. Who knows? But GCAP was a nice play. Last stock I want to talk about, I didn't really trade this one that much, but Lineu was a stock that was in play yesterday. Nice little ramp at the open. I was too focused on Watt and GCAP to trade this thing, but for those of you guys that did trade it did behave really nicely, although they did, again, sell it into the high day pushes, and you see right there, this 3 push. I did recall watching the tape. There was like some $50,000 share sizes that were pushing it down. It wasn't exactly the easiest trade. If you chase this thing, you got burned. So again, this whole week was not about chasing on the long side. The market conditions changed to more of a short bias, so you had to be wary of that. Any chases would likely be punished. Boom, huge dump there on Lineu on that 3 push all the way down to 240, and they grinded all the way back. So again, you gotta be careful, guys. We gotta be careful when the volume gets low. You never know what can happen. So today, Lineu, nice little washout long opportunity. Again, though, VWAP couldn't hold. Faded all day. So that being said, guys, that's pretty much all I had. Just a really, really nice month overall. Hopefully you guys took full advantage of it. This is a career-changing past couple months for a lot of people. It definitely was for myself. I haven't had 2 consecutive 6-figure months. Very promising. Looking forward to 2018. Last year, I'm going through my notes. This past January, actually. We're not in 2018 yet. But January was pretty good. We had stocks like ETRM. We had stocks like Dries, I believe, that popped up. If not in January, it popped up in February or something like that. So very optimistic for the beginning of the month. There will be an inevitable slowdown at some point, so be prepared for that. But we should have some nice plays. January, at least. People are usually optimistic for the new year. Trade more often. Maybe we get some good volume. So that being said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this recap. Again, hopefully you guys got a chance to see how the month played out, how the plays changed, the type of plays changed. Longs, shorts, blockchains to stocks like Watt and all that. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your holidays. Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys fresh. Don't show up on Monday to trade, but Tuesday is the first trading day of 2018. Hopefully I see all of your beautiful faces raring to go, ready to kill in this market. This is Mad Ass signing off for the last time in 2017. Take it easy, guys. I want to take a quick moment and give a shout out to Pax Forex, who sponsored this video. For a reliable broker who accepts clients worldwide and even accepts Bitcoin payments and has account types for everyone from newbies all the way up to professional level, support 24 hours, 5 days a week, and also provides daily analytics. Pax Forex. They are doing a giveaway here, a New Year's giveaway. All you have to do is enter in your email, click on spin roulette, click and win gift, and go ahead and see where it lands, and that's where you can claim your prize. Check them out, paxforex.com.